Thanks for inviting me, Dr. Roy, to share my journey. But how did I get here? Well, I simply asked a very innocent question in one of the meetings early in July, and that sparked some discussion. And by the end of that meeting, Dr. Roy was already asking me to share my testimony. and, s- and then the following week, he announced that I was doing it when we hadn't even confirmed it. So there you go, a bit of a twisting arm. I'm Angelina Manoto. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I originally come from the Philippines. I'm married, and I did say I'm 60 49. Um, been married for 42 and a half years, and I've got two adult children, and I'm a grandmother of two. My husband and I retired in 2015. In terms of career, I've worked for 40 years in the IT industry. I started off as a computer programmer when I was 17, and I now worked through to management level. And then in 1999, I set up my own company and contracted my services to the finance and higher education industries here in Sydney. Um, uh, I was specializing in project and program management and business transformation services. So that was my background. But I did say that in 2015 I retired, same time as my husband, because we wanted to travel. We said, let's travel while we can still move around. And so we did. And we've only really stopped traveling because, um, for one, I did get diagnosed with a heart problem in 2017. And then after recovering from that, we got COVID. We started traveling again, and then we got COVID.
Angelina,
And so,
can you
yes.
speak a little bit louder? Angelina, I just got a text. Some people cannot hear you well. Can you turn up the volume a little bit?
All right. Okay. Okay. That's Max. Can you hear me?
Okay, that's better. Thank you. Maybe you need to be
All right.
closer to the mic.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should. All right. So, so, so basically, over this time that we have, basically, I will share how I started with LifeWave, my personal healing story, my mom's LifeWave story, and I picked some customer stories that I could tell you, but I really would like to focus on the top 5 lessons that I've learned and perhaps some suggestions towards the end. So let's start. Okay. So how I
Another
started
thing,
with LifeWave.
Angelina, there are
Yes,
these blockage of gray. What is that? Can you get rid of it?
I I don't know. Let me just see. Did
I
it
think
disappear?
that's the way how she create the PowerPoint.
No, no. I have her PowerPoint, bro, Tito.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
doesn't have that.
So
Okay, that's good. That's good. You get rid of the one on that side. That's good. Okay.
okay, all right. Okay, um, so basically, I know in this group, in a group like this, people come from different backgrounds, and in my case, I am a Christian, and my faith has played a major part in my involvement here, and the growing passion to use LifeWave. So how I started. A friend introduced me to LifeWave in early July 2021. It took me 2 weeks before I decided to try it. What pushed me to try it is that, the three big pluses: the attractions to me, the product, the testimony, and the hope. So the product, it sounded, look, it's good. It's the natural approach. I kind of like that. Um, the thing that I don't have to ingest anything, no drugs, no chemicals, and it seemed easy to use. And then my friend's testimony. I'm not gonna tell her whole testimony, but what attracted me of all of her testimony was that of her mom's. Her mom had was starting with dementia, but somehow it the patches arrested it. And so I thought, okay, that gave me hope that it might help my mom. And I'm gonna talk about my mom a bit later. However, what was a big reluctance to me was that I'm not into network marketing. I really, really don't want to get into network marketing. We've tried it before, and both my husband and I, we said we won't get into something like this because there's a lot of pressure to do this, pressure to do that, pressure to buy, and all that stuff. But my friend was actually um, telling me, look, this one is different. There's no pressure. You do it in your own pace. You can be just a user. You don't need to get into the business of it if you just want to be a user and all that. So that kind of pacified me a bit, but there is still a discomfort. And then there's the unknowns. I want to know the integrity of the developer, the integrity of the company, what are its values, the goals, customer and product commitment, the integrity of the products themselves. And then for me, coming from a background, I'm interested in cost benefits and the health value that it gives me, usage sustainability. I'll talk more about those a little bit later. Okay, so cut a long story short, 14th of July, I ordered X39 at bronze level. I was very careful. I did not even tell my husband because I know my husband, he's going to ask a lot of questions. And knowing it's network marketing, he'll probably say, what are you getting into? And I wasn't prepared to answer whatever questions he could ask. He's quite scientific and mathematical in his thinking. So basically, around this time last year, pretty much this is my anniversary, 23rd of July or 24th, I started patching X39. I noticed some improvements on the third week of usage. My friend kept on following me up each week, and I kept on saying no, no, no. But on the third week, I noticed that I had some energy, and also my daughter noticed my skin. That she asked me, "Mom, what product are you using? Your skin looks good." And also at the time it was lockdown here in Sydney, and so I really really normally get tired by 6 o'clock that day because I was helping look after my grandkids, um, homeschooling one and then basically looking after the 3-year old while my daughter and her husband do their work. So really really tiring, but after 3 weeks I said, wow, this is good, I'm up. So, throughout all my usage of this, I was praying, God, God, just, this product seems to be working. What am I going to do with this? Am I going to get into this business and all that stuff? And I kept on praying, praying. And then one day, at this time, I had already asked my friend to give me something about the developer, David Schmidt. And she sent me, I think the Amplify conference just finished at the time, and she sent me the video of that. And she said, oh, there's a testimony from David Schmidt towards the end. Just listen to it. So I put my headphones on and I listened to this video. I was in the kitchen doing my cooking, so I wasn't really looking at the video. I just had my headphones on. And then all of a sudden, I heard David Schmidt talk about his faith, him being a Christian. He talked about, in terms of, God, uh, nature. God has given to us whatever we need for healing, the way He designed our bodies, and nature and light. His creation, basically. If we could just look closely, if we study creation, we have everything we need for our healing. And I said, wow, that's profound. But is he really a true Christian? Blah, blah, blah. And then later on in the video, he said prayer. Like every time he works, he prays. And I said, did he say prayer? I went back to my phone and I actually rewound the video because, I was amazed that this guy so high up there would acknowledge this at a global platform. And so, but anyway, he did. It's right. I heard him right. And so I said, okay, well, he's a Christian. I said, okay, so that alleviates things a little bit. And so, because he's the founder of the company, I trusted that it would be founded on Christian values. But anyway, 28th of August was a very, very important date for me because I was asleep and around 6 o'clock in the morning, I got woken up by a voice. It says, um, I want my people healed. Twice. The first one woke me up. The second one got me up from my bed really, really quickly. Um, and I had goosebumps. And I said, God, is that your answer to my prayer? I know that voice. I've heard it before, a few times before. I know it's the Holy Spirit. And that's where my faith steps in. And so I said, okay, God, if you want me to do it, I'll do it. I am uncomfortable. I don't like it, but yeah, okay, help me, help me. And so I looked at my husband, he's still asleep. The room was quite dark. I grabbed my Bible. I went out into the kitchen and I said, I think I'm going to do communion. So I got my communion emblems and I was just about to pray when I felt an urge to go and look for another pastor's communion message, which I had listened to probably months before. So I picked up, I went into YouTube, I found it, and I played it, and I listened to that prayer. And in listening to that prayer, two words stood out for me. This preacher said, "God wants you well. God wants you well." I said, what? Another one? Like just within a span of like not even half an hour. And I said, "Okay, Lord, I get it. I get it." And I had my communion and I just prayed. So armed with that, and remember I told you I didn't tell my husband. So later that day, I basically told my husband that I've been trying this patch and it looks good. And I even showed him this is the proof. Look at my skin. And actually, what I noticed is I actually had a lot of hair growths that I didn't realize. What I noted was just my hair part was changing. So I showed him, look at these hair growths. And my husband just jokingly said, "Okay, will it help me with my hair?" And I said, "I don't know. Let's try." And so, basically, my husband okayed it and all that. I sent him the scientific, studies, and he delved into it. And then the other issue is my mom. So, I did end up getting to patch her. Let me go back to that later. But I got to patch mom with a special arrangement with a nursing home. And then I started sharing with family, relatives, friends, and basically a few of them tried it, not everyone. Some basically said, "No, don't want it. I don't want it." But by October, I did not understand the business. I accidentally got to manager level. So, um, as I said, I wasn't really keen on the business. I really was overwhelmed by it all. But I was very, very interested in all the health topics discussed and how the patches can help. And I learned through reading, listening to informational videos, studies, webinars, and many other things. So, my personal healing testimony, I shared a little bit of it. So, the first month, I said I noticed more energy. I had improved sleep. My skin texture improved. I had new hair growths. I was actually having heart palpitations at the time, but towards the end of the fourth week, I those palpitations disappeared. Second month, this would be around September last year. I normally have seasonal allergies, and usually by September, I would be heavily into antihistamines and buffers and all that stuff. But somehow my spring allergy didn't happen. I didn't use those things, antihistamines and buffers. My heart palpitations were gone. And this is the biggest thing for me, the last point. I actually did have a heart operation in 2017. I got diagnosed with holes in my heart, not just one, but many holes. I was 59 when it got found out, but I was born with those holes. And the doctors actually were surprised that I survived that long with those many holes. I had a 1.8 centimeter hole in a very difficult part of my heart, and right at the bottom, another 1.2 centimeter. And in between the right and the left ventricles was a flap with lots of holes on it. So I cut the story short. I had a successful operation there, but it was a non-invasive heart operation. That means I didn't get cut up on the on the bone in here on the rib, but I had a huge cut through the muscles to get into my heart to patch all those holes um, underneath my breast and all that. That meant a lot of nerves and muscles got damaged. And 4 years after the operation, I was still hurting inside. You can't see a trace of the operation externally, but inside, I could not lie down on my side, both sides. Um, Within a minute, I have to go back and lie flat on my back. But after 2 months of X39 at the time, I was just using X39, my internal wound pain ceased. So subsequent improvements for me. So I have not, for a year now, I haven't had any seasonal allergies. Also, I was diagnosed with inguinal hernia, and my limbs actually do hurt when they attack. But somehow I have not felt those pains anymore. I achieved my target weight, I'm generally feeling well with a sense of having stronger immunity. I don't reach out for medications anymore. It's been a year. I have not touched any of those. And I now have more confidence in caring and helping others in their health challenges. So for my family, basically it's the same kind of report: more energy, better sleep, better skin, stronger immune. My husband's got some arthritic pains. The pains have been relieved, but at this point, he's still waiting for complete healing for his hand. It's getting there. I do patch my grandkids from time to time if my daughter allows me. When they're in pain or has stomach issues, I do them. So let's talk about my mom at this point. So,
Angelina, can you go back?
yes,
Can you go back to the previous page?
yep. Oh, why is that?
No, the page before that.
Yes,
Page. No. Yeah, that one. Okay, got it.
yep, yeah,
There you go. That's the one. Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Question?
No, no question. I was about to take a picture, but it moved. So sorry about that.
Oh, okay, right. Yep, all done?
All done.
Okay, so let's move to my mom. All right.
Yeah.
So, what happened to my mom is that she's 94. She was 90. She's 95 now. So last year, actually 2020, she was diagnosed with dementia, and but she was coping quite well. And but in February, she had a stroke. It was a ischemic stroke, and it affected the memory part of her brain. She was taken to the hospital and stayed there. And there, the doctor told us, um, your mom's memory part of her brain has been quite damaged, and so uh, she will not be able to. This is my mom, okay? So this was May, taken May 2021. So she will not be able to be the same person as she was. Mom didn't actually know us anymore at the time. And so the hospital said it's their duty of care to investigate whether we as a family could still look after her 24 by 7, because that's the care that she now needs. And although I'm one of 10 children, there's 7 of us here in Sydney. All 7 of us have got our respective families, so no one could commit to basically care for her 24 by 7. And so they said she's got to go to a nursing home. So, cut a long story short, we found a nursing home for her, and a really, really good one, I might say. So, we were happy with that. So, she went there. Um, and every week I would visit her. I'm the primary contact person for the nursing home. But June last year, towards the end of June last year, for 3.5 months, Sydney went into lockdowns because of COVID. And my mom's mental health just deteriorated quite badly. Um, Her mental health was just so bad. Her dementia rapidly progressed. She had lots of negative thoughts. She regressed to memories of the Second World War. So coming from the Philippines, this was the Japanese War. Her family had to hide in the forest, and she said that she was afraid of being raped and being harmed and all that stuff. And basically, they were the memories that were keeping on returning to her, that kept on returning to her. She became quite aggressive and suspicious towards her carers, and she accused them of abuse. And she was non participative. And to the point that by August, we were just I was so devastated to see her. And during the lockdowns, we could only do weekly Zoom calls with her and see her deterioration via Zoom. We can't do anything because we couldn't, we couldn't visit her. So by middle of August, we had a meeting with the head nurse and the doctor. So we discussed mom's situation. The doctor was discussing the further care and changes in her medications and tests and all that. And at this point, I suggested, could I just use the patches to my mom? The doctor didn't know anything about the patches, but at that point, I had tried the patches for a month. And so I said, at that point, I wanted carnosine and an X39. So the doctor said, okay, send me all the information and we'll see. Because there's a protocol to be followed, and she had to get it approved. And the patches can only applied if the doctor charts it. And so there was a lot of toing and froing on information. And then basically, cut a long story short, she agreed after 2 weeks of toing and froing. And but her agreement was that we will do X39 first. We'll see if it's got adverse effects on her. And if she's okay, then we can do the carnosine. And the carnosine, I was only requesting 3 days a week, but X39 every day. So I ordered the patches, and mom eventually got patched on the 17th of September. That was a Friday. And every Saturday we have a Zoom call with her. And so in the Zoom call, what we found was a different person. Just one day, she was very different. And then this is how she looked like 2 weeks on X39. See the
Wow.
difference? She was actually 2 weeks. That day was actually her birthday, and we were allowed to visit her. So one of my sisters went, and this is what she found. My mom was actually a bit more erect. The aura was different, um, and she was happy. She still didn't know. She still didn't know us at the time, but at least she has calmed down. And then shortly, I think a week after she got patched, I rang her, and she seemed to be coherent. And I asked her, "Mom, are you in pain?" And she said, "I'm surprised. I normally have pains, but I don't have pains now. I think I'm all good." And I said, "Well, that's good." I was just so grateful. I said, "Thank you, Lord." And I think the patches are working. And this is my mom 2 months after. You know what? My mom loves dominoes. She plays them. She can beat us in dominoes. And 2 months into dominoes, 2 months into X39, she started to play dominoes. Whenever someone visits her, she plays dominoes. 5 months. This was February this year. And then 8 months. This was May. In fact, in here in the May photo, she managed to attend, we took her out. She managed to attend a granddaughter's wedding. So she was a bit glammed up there. This is her now, basically the recent photos this month. So that's mom. So we as a family are really, really grateful to LifeWave for pretty much, mom's dementia being reversed. She still has dementia, I think, but it's all under control. I think we've got her back. In fact, much better than when she had the stroke, because now she knows us. Every Saturday we have a Zoom call with her, and she calls out, our names. And when I take her out now, when I visit her, we go for a drive. She even reads out the signs on the road, and she sings. She does praise and worship in the nursing home. We send her things that she could read, and she's good. And so we are so happy with that. All right, so that's my mom. So some other customer testimonies. Um, I've I've got this couple in here. So I have a multiple myeloma patient who she had this person's a bit complicated. She had multiple myeloma, recurred in 2015. She had two strong doses of chemotherapy, two cycles of very strong chemotherapy. Uh, and then she had, in 2018, bone marrow stem cell transplant twice. It only partially worked, and she said it was so painful because when the cultured blood is injected into her, she can't move for 24 hours. And then she was given the thalidomide drug to kill remaining cancer cells and it was given to her through infusion. So now was suffering from all the side effects of her cancer treatment. She's under remission, but she's got all those side effects. So when the moment she patched glutathione, she said within the hour she had a sore throat, and she tasted very metallic taste. And she rang me and she said, "Oh, I can't stand this." So she took it off for a while, and then put it on the next day, and then the same thing happened because her body was really heavily getting rid of all those toxins. But then after a week, she got better, and then after that, she was good. She had neuropathy, which she said, "Oh, energy enhancer tops that pretty much helped her neuropathy." She was doing X39, by the way, in all this as well. Her breathlessness and fatigue was gone. She had significant weight loss using SP6. She had knee joint immobility, but that was restored. She said she used glutathione, Aeon, and collagen supplement, as per what she heard from David Schmidt. She also had benign kidney tumor pains. The tumor, the doctor didn't really want to remove it at this stage, but it hurts her. So the pains have been controlled through LifeWave, and and lo and behold, her blood test results were normalized. And when she went to see her doctor, the doctor said, "Look, whatever hocus pocus you're doing, just keep on doing it. It's good. It's doing you good." So that's her.
Wow.
The next one is a 41-year-old male.
Um, Angelina, so when you
Yes,
said the blood test results was normalized, so what
yes.
happened to the cancer?
She's cancer free now. She's cancer free. Yeah,
Ooh, praise the Lord.
yeah,
Hallelujah.
yeah, yeah. And blood test normalized. Like she had cholesterol and all those other. There's lots. She was actually part of a clinical trial of a drug for that
I
multiple
see.
myeloma uh,
That is exciting.
cancer, and so she participated in it. Oh, again, a big kind of thing. But yeah, but she was careful in the way she looks after her body. So she's really really grateful for LifeWave. Yeah. The next one is a 41-year-old male. He had a flare up of psoriasis due to an autoimmune disease, which also got aggravated by joint pains, where he accumulated a lot of fluid around his abdomen, his knees, his legs, and plus at the time he had hypertension. So it's all these things all came into the one. He was prescribed diuretics and antibiotics and anti-hypertension and pain relief meds by his doctor. Um, and I just happened to stumble on him because I rang a friend just to say hi, hello. And then she told me about her son. And my friend had the patches, but she wasn't using them. And so I told her, "Look, why don't you use those patches and all that?" But and so she started to use whatever she's got. It helped her son with the pains. But then I went back to my leader here in Australia, that's Susanna, and I asked her, "What should I do with this person?" And she said, "Get him to do total body cleanse, 3 cycles." And so I went back to my friend, told her, "Look, let's do this total body cleanse protocol." I sent her the instructions. We ordered the patches, and after 2 cycles, her son was able to go back to work. 3 cycles. He was good. He's good now. Even his psoriasis, at that point, she said it's cleared, and the skin was good. Although there were still marks of obviously where the psoriasis had been, but the skin was smoothing out. The other testimony I was going to share is this 86-year-old frail woman from the Philippines. Um, she was recommended to me by my cousin. She's had dizzy spells, really frail, but she lives on her own with the aid of a helper at home. So she's a doctor's wife and very, very much like very hard to convince to get into this. But finally, I got her to. I had to do everything for her because she doesn't know technology. She can't do the ordering herself and all that stuff. And so after, basically after a month, no, the first day she tried the patch. She rang me. She said, "I'm scared because this instruction says I should go and see the doctor." I said, trust me, just do the patches." And she said, she called her maid and said, "You stay there in the room. I'm gonna patch, and you wait for me." We'll wait for an hour. An hour did pass. Nothing happened to her except that her dizzy spells disappeared. She was able to get up from bed, and then within a month, she was able to get rid of her walking stick. And then they had a family reunion. Her relatives got amazed at the change in her face and aura and her mobility. And so some of them were saying, "I'll have what she's having." And so they started ordering the patches. I think 3 families started ordering the patches. So I do have other testimonies, but in interest of time, I'm just sharing those three. But the typical comments have been the usual: the energy, the pain relief, the sense of wellness, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me move on to the top 5 lessons I've learned. Am I still okay for time, Dr. Roy?
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
Okay, all right. Top 5 lessons. Firstly, as a newcomer, I was observing. And what I have observed is that successful LifeWave distributors, first and foremost, genuinely love, care, help, and are generous toward all people, not just some people, but to all people. They're servant hearted learners, they skill themselves up, and they share. And they truly reflect the company's ethos and high ethical standards. I watched my leader here, Susanna. I watched all the other leaders here, including my upline, my sponsor, and all of them the same. And I am so
So you're sponsored by
surprised.
Susanna, by the way?
I was sponsored by Nelly,
Oh, by Nelly.
uh,
That's
who
right. That's right. Okay.
who is under Susanti,
Yeah.
who is under Susanna. So I'm kind of like level 4, I think. Yeah, and so they're all the same. Particularly the initial meetings. Sometimes when we talk about people's testimonies, there's a lot of tears. This sometimes we cry because we're just so happy for those people. And then at one stage, I had the courage to share my testimony, my spiritual testimony about hearing from God. And I saw Susanna crying, and I said, "Why are you crying?" And did I make her cry? And she said, "Oh, we have the same experience." And so I said, "Wow!" And that's the only time that I actually found out she's a Christian. And so I said, "Okay, I think I'm in good company." And then I attended meetings like this, and I can see the same kind of character from the people that have been sharing, and from you, Dr. Roy, as well, and all that. So you had a meeting with us, the Australia team, at one stage, and yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. And so yeah, so that's the first one. The second one, let me just remind you, I did have a huge discomfort about network marketing. I did tell you I'm not into network marketing. Now, this is transformative for me. And now I'm convinced that network marketing is what is best for LifeWave products. So, why do I say that? And what I'm going to say is basically just for my own um, things that I've learned. Okay. Firstly, customers' needs are best understood by people whom they trust and know well. So, the people that I have shared with, I don't think they would share their health issues with other people, especially my family, my relatives, and all that. And then friends as well. So you start from those people that know you, and then they bring people that they know who trust them, who then introduce you to them, and then they end up trusting you. So, and it just goes
That's
on
true.
and on. Um, and customers need sincere and correct guidance and education in health and in the use of patches as long as they need. And I underlined for as long as they need, because this one, to me, getting into this, it is a lifetime of a relationship. For as long as they use the patches as well, for as long as they're happy for you to guide them and things like that. It's whatever. It's them. And I think if you bought this from the stores, you will not You will not get that kind of service. And next thing, the patches are sensitive, requiring appropriate storage and minimum handling between warehouse and customers. I've actually seen some patches sold in eBay and Amazon and all that. But then I thought, and especially in the Philippines, I've I actually rang one just to try, and they didn't know that I was in Australia. I was just ringing. They were gonna sell me one patch, and I said, well, how many people would have handled that one patch? And the patches get activated by body heat, and so you just don't know how effective that would be by the time you get it. But through network marketing, you know, with the customers ordering themselves, they get it straight from the warehouse. The product warranty is honored only through distributorship. I think we know that. And to me, LifeWave is not only about products, but a lifestyle of being connected and establishing great friendships with people who generously help and share their goals, learnings, and experiences. I don't think we can do this business on our own. I think this is really people helping people, just like what Dr. Roy has been saying. And so I would not have been connected to this group had it not been for LifeWave. I would not have known him and all the others that I've met. And so, yeah, and had it not been for the people sharing their experiences, whoops. And LifeWave through network marketing has opened the door of opportunity for anyone to not just achieve health benefits from its products, but to also provide the financial means to sustain ongoing patch usage. So, just on this last point, let me go back to these things that I said are unknowns to me, my other questions. So, I've ticked the integrity of the developer. I'm happy about David. I've ticked the company. I think I know the products work, and so that's ticked. The the health value and the usage sustainability I'll talk about. But in terms of usage sustainability, this is what probably is my point here at the my last point. This is when I actually marveled at the brilliance of David Schmidt, that because of what he of his goal to spread health and wellness globally to as many people as he can, um, through network marketing, he made it available. Through the business, he made it available for people who might not even be able to afford this, to afford it. If they so desperately want this, they could actually really seriously get into the business, and even just to get their patches for free would be a great help for them. And so the network marketing is a good way for them to be able to do that. And I think Brother Tito has already, um, talked a lot more about that. So basically, at this point, I have resolved all my key questions. So lesson number 3, the value of good health was further amplified to me by LifeWave. Okay, the first point there is my quote. The value of me having good health is so much more than what it might cost me to attain it. I always say that to myself because I had two major health challenges in my life. I did tell you about the second one, which is the heart operation, but the first one, I had a massive fall in 2009, and and the fall was because I was preparing for a medical procedure, and I think was allergic or had a negative reaction to the preparation medication that was given to me. I fell flat on my floor, on the hardwood floor, damaged this and damaged. I broke my mandible and damaged my forefront teeth. And it took 2 years to recover from it. Now, what I didn't realize, I thought I was just going to get my teeth fixed and all that, and I'll be fine. But no, a week after, I felt dizzy, and all of a sudden, I started to get sick, really sick, one by one. And then I went to the doctor. The doctor was just gonna give me anti-dizziness tablets, and when I tried it, didn't work for me. So I went to a friend who's into the natural healing um, business, and she helped me, and she was the one who was able to heal me. And so from then I realized I need to look more to natural means. And also at that point I was eager to do whatever is needed to do for me to regain my health back. It didn't matter that I was successful in my career. It didn't matter, financially I was fine and all that. But the value of my health is really important to me, and I'm willing to pay whatever is the price to attain that for me. So that's always my goal. But then I've always thought that I'm healthy. Like now, after having gone through that, having had my heart thing sorted out, I thought, okay, I'm reasonably healthy. But the next point tells the story. Being in good health does not necessarily mean not being sick, because you just don't know what's lurking inside of you. Okay, people think, and it's all subjective, And I met a lot of people who say, oh, I'm healthy. I don't need that. But then you find out that okay, next thing, something happens to them. So they just don't know what's inside them. And the last point is it's best to build good health foundations as early as possible in life. We've all known that, but for those of us who have failed to do that, maybe who have abused ourselves when we were young, LifeWave gives us hope and opportunity to do that, even if we failed in our younger years, because there's a there's a lot of restoration that can happen using the LifeWave products. Next one. Customers can be challenging. Well, that's not really news. I think we all know that. But it's just that sometimes when you get in front of really challenging customers, sometimes you, you just don't know what to do with them. Um, but one thing I realized, Life Aid is not for everyone, because some of those people just don't want to try. They don't want to learn more. They just want to get the benefit and get it quickly in their own terms. They don't even want to spend the money that is required. Um, I had people, the next one, choose relationship over patches. I had people who've managed to try the patches, but then they kept on complaining to the point that it was just so irritating. Look, I just gave all their money back, and it was my loss. It's fine, but I'd rather keep the relationship because that's more important than the patches. I said, just be gracious and just be generous. I had people that would like to try, but basically don't give me any information. I've sent all the information, just background. No, I don't want to hear about it. Just want to try it, and don't call me. And then I rang and said, don't call me, I will call you. That sort of thing. I said, okay, all right, just respect the wishes. And the last point, um, LifeWave is like a seed. Let me just It's like a seed that's been entrusted to us. Um, it is blessed with loads of potential to grow and transform our lives, but we are responsible for planting and caring for it. So it's like growing a plant. So basically, why I said this is now that I know what I know, I feel responsible to share. So I've been given a seed. Um, and not to plant that seed is actually being irresponsible of me. It's selfish of me because the seed's just going to be, it's not going to realize its potential. So I know that I'm here to help people first and foremost. I heard that. I heard that. Spiritually, I heard that. The many times I might feel discomfort in sharing, I always remember I heard that voice. I want my people healed. I went through a transition period, adjusting my life to the demands of a distributor. It's kind of like tilling the soil, my soil. Um, and because I had other commitments, and so I had to rearrange things. And now it makes a big difference to me to know that in this season of my life, in the season of planting, I'm here to do something new with a clear purpose. And any financial gain for me is just a means to honor God and be generous. And I know that I can do this business at a calm pace. I don't want to put pressure on myself. We each have our own lanes. Mine is probably not as fast as some of yours, but I'm okay with that at this stage because my soil needs a fair bit more tilling and cultivating. I don't worry that there's a lot of things I still don't know in the business, but I will learn. I will keep on learning. And I will keep on trusting that the company operates in Christian principles. I love the systems provided. I love the support that's provided. I love dealing with LifeWave corporate head office. The The Bible tells us that whatever you do, do it as if you are working for the Lord. And that's what I do. And I'll give this my best shot. And as we sow, we reap. And to know that I'm now part of this team is helping one another. And helping one another, that is great. One
Amen.
morning, I actually reflected myself, what if I had said no? What if I just really closed off everything? And it just occurred to me, look, my mom is not going to be better. I'm not going to be healed of what I had kind of accepted to be my norm at that point. Um, and all those other people, my family, my friends, my siblings, and and so on and so forth. And also, I would not have met you all. So, so there's a lot of good things in there. I know that sometimes blessings come in unexpected ways, and they may take us through uncomfortable paths. But I'm happy to take this uncomfortable path at this point. I could leave it there, but because Dr. Roy gave me the platform, I just have these two suggestions to LifeWave, and I want to use the platform for this. Okay, number one, patch sleeves. I look at those patch sleeves, and this happened because I always get asked, where do I put this? Where do I put that? I always tell my customers, you know what? This is what I do. I cut off the patch locations in the instruction
Small one.
booklet. I stick them on the patch leaf itself. And for people who keep on asking, I tell them just do that. And then the thing for me is that when I send over the patches to the nursing home, I have to do this for every patch. And I thought, there's space in there. Why could the company not put the suggested patch locations there? I know they're just
That's a good
redesigned.
idea, Angelina.
Yeah, why can't they redesign it there? Because I'm, you know, my mom is now using a lot of patches every month. I just keep on, I line them up and do all this. I do it for my husband. I do it for some friends. So I said, well, there you go. I just want to say that.
That's a good idea. I'll talk to David about that.
Yeah. The next thing, one thing that I find is we all need information. And it would be great if LifeWave has got a central library, a wealth of information all in the one central location. The webinars, the teaching videos, the testimonies. I know we kind of got something in our personal websites, but then there's also a lot in YouTube. There's a lot spread everywhere. And particularly, I was thinking, even if David's webinars, a lot in all of those webinars, there's a lot of good tips that he gives. If someone could just index them by topic, like say for example, growing cartilage is one thing that he's discussed a fair bit. So there's a few videos that he says that. But if someone just in the what do you call assesses each video or each informational video, and catalogs the key information that's being shared in there, and then make it available to everyone to access in an indexed way, that will be awesome. That's my IT thinking happening here. So there you go. And then, having said those two suggestions, my last slide. Okay, essential patches for staying strong and healthy all the way. Um, and this I totally agree with Dr. Roy, because he's advised me this, and this is what I do. Daily basic patches. If you can do it, X39 glutathione aeon.
Yeah.
Keep them as a daily, um, you know, a daily patch. I use aeon at night. X39 glutathione, I use it during the day. Use
Yeah.
them during the day. But if you can afford, if you're able, you can add a few more patches. Add carnosine maybe 3 times a week. Energy enhancer, maybe every second day. Or so I've heard someone, I just do it once a week. I get my mom to be patched with energy enhancer once a week. And X49 if you're able. I've just started my mom on X49 as well. It took 2 weeks for the doctor to to get it charted. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to say, Even the doctor at the nursing home was amazed. She's now using the patches herself. Unfortunately,
Mm.
she didn't get from me, so she found a friend to get it from. Anyway, all right. And only if in pain we can add ice wave.
Yeah.
So if we have all these 7 basic patches, um, they're awesome to have up your sleeve and just always keep them with you. So on that note, that's my journey thus far. It's probably gonna be faster from here on. I kind of dilly dallied a fair bit because, as I said, my soil needed a lot of cultivating in the first year, but it should improve from here on. So thank you everyone for listening to me, and thank you very much for this opportunity, Dr. Roy.